You know, we like to focus on business in the community, in the region, in the state. That's what matters. But tonight, our focus is on a fourth state of matter. See about it on NEOtropolis. This is not business as usual. Welcome to NEOtropolis. We are not business as usual. Hi, I'm your host, Jim Evans. To have success with any team endeavor, you need to have chemistry, right? And with our exceptional crew, we have that here on NEOtropolis. And as it turns out, chemistry is what we are about on tonight's show. We'll give you a close-up look at a leading research consortium doing unique things at a leading university here in Northeast Ohio. So stay with us for that. But as we like to do, we'll lead off with a look at regional business news from the NEOtropolis Good Business News Aggregator.
This is the good business news along the I-77 corridor for the week of April 4th. Tuesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer front page reports that Columbus-based Huntington Bank, Cleveland-based Forest City Enterprises, and the Cleveland Foundation are among the financial backers of a proposed global welcome center to be located in downtown Cleveland. The center is expected to be an information center for people considering moving to Cleveland, a headquarters to market Cleveland to the world and recruit a workforce, and possibly a job matching center to help fill local job openings. Tuesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer and the Akron Beacon Journal business sections report that Fairlawn-based A. Schulman, a plastic additive company, posted second quarter gains of $7.1 million. This compares to a $6.8 million loss during the same time period a year ago. Wednesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer business section reports that Cleveland Hopkins International Airport now has a Timothy's World Coffee, a Canadian subsidiary of Brugger's Enterprises Incorporated of Burlington, Vermont. This is the first Timothy's World Coffee located in the United States. Thursday's Cleveland Plain Dealer business section reports that the Minority Business Development Agency, an arm of the U.S. Department of Commerce, will support the creation of a minority business center in Cleveland. Cleveland is only one of two cities, the other city is Denver, Colorado, that are being tapped for a new center which will help minority business owners secure contracts, find loans, expand companies, and export products. Thursday's Kent Record Courier front page reports that NEOUCOM, short for Northeastern Ohio University's Colleges of Medicine and Pharmacy, may be getting a new, shorter name. The school, originally created through a joint effort of the University of Akron, Kent State University, and Youngstown State University, and later joined by Cleveland State University, is an instrumentality of the state, which means that a name change would require legislative action. Recently, the House of Representatives voted to change the name to Northeast Ohio Medical University. Similar legislation is being considered in the Senate. This is the good business news along the I-77 corridor for this week. NEOtropolis is your source for good business news.
When you order a sandwich and want to go light, you could say, hold the mayo, or the liquid crystal. That would be if you maybe work in the chemistry department. If you don't, well, put your lab coat on and stay with us to see the connection. Right now, we connect with our content partner, the Business Journal. It's time for the Weekly Buzz.
I'm Stacia Erdis with the Business Journal Weekly Buzz for Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley. Unemployment edges down in the Youngstown area. The unemployment rate for Mahoning, Trumbull, and Mercer counties fell in February to 10.8%, down nearly 0.5% from January, but still a full point higher than Ohio's rate at 9.8%. An important achievement for Youngstown State University's Williamson College of Business Administration.
Please join me in congratulating all of these individuals who worked so hard to achieve this international recognition.
The college has been reaccredited by the prestigious AACSB International. That places the college among the top business schools in the world.
AACSB has 21 quality standards that every school is required to meet, and those standards focus on your strategic planning process, making sure you have the resources to support your mission, looking at indicators of the quality of your faculty and students, and the programs and services that you provide.
Less than 5% of business schools worldwide have earned the accreditation. Youngstown State is going after $10 million to transform this building into the home of YSU's Emerging Center for Excellence in Materials Science and Engineering. YSU has already received $200,000 for asbestos abatement in the Garfield building. YSU will now submit an application to the National Institute of Standards and Technology for $10 million of the $15 million the university expects will be required to convert and equip the building for the new center, which was designated last year by then-Governor Ted Strickland. Big changes could come quickly for the Erie Terminal building in downtown Youngstown. The developer says the sale should be completed in a matter of days with plans for its renovation on the fast track. Dominic Marchionda, president of U.S. Campus Suites, plans to turn the former office building and railroad depot into student apartments and retail space. Marchionda hopes to have the residential phase of the project finished by August in time for the start of the YSU school year. More local fallout from the Youngstown-Warren Regional Chamber's support of Senate Bill 5. Two law firms, including Green, Haynes, and Scimbatti, have pulled out of the chamber. The firm represents union members in the public sector.
We're so offended by what the chamber did that we're withdrawing.
Another law firm, Heller, Maas, Morrow, and McGill of Austintown, joined several local companies in withdrawing their memberships from the chamber. After 3 decades, the Mahoning Valley Economic Development Corporation is getting a new director. After 31 years at the helm of the MVEDC, Don French is leaving. He plans to first help with his successor's transition. The new executive director is Michael Conway, who was most recently with the Adirondack Economic Development Corporation of New York. And those are this week's headlines. Be sure to check out the Buzz Newscast every business day online at businessjournaldaily.com. I'm Stacia Erdis. We'll see you next week.
And now it's time for a NEOtropolis fact.
Did you know that 3 out of 4 jobs in Northeast Ohio's high-tech industries are in non-high-tech occupations?
The next time you look at your computer or laptop screen, you might think liquid crystals. Take it a step further and think about cutting-edge research in today and tomorrow's technology. Well, that's the process that has been the focus at a Kent State school for over 4 decades now. The Liquid Crystal Institute has been ahead of the curve in this discipline for some time now. Jennifer Bohr has had the opportunity to look in the microscope there and now shows us their unique work.
The Liquid Crystal Institute here at Kent State University has played a major role for years in developing the liquid crystal technology. So we can use things like flat screen TVs and our cell phones, and here in their building they're even using their own technology, and it is definitely not business as usual.
I think it'd be fair to say that we are viewed around the world as being the originator and kind of the mecca of liquid crystal research.
The Institute is about 46 years old, but Dr. John West has been involved with the research and development of this technology for 25 years. In the past, he's acted as VP of Research and Director of the Institute.
The initial group here at Kent State was really responsible for reinvigorating research in liquid crystals. The first company to make an LCD was here in Kent, Ohio.
And this is the first digital wristwatch made in Kent and now kept behind glass at the Institute's small museum.
In doing this research, sort of pioneered the modern version of it, and very much found ourselves in the right place at the right time when the idea that we might be having things like laptop computers and full-color flat-screen TVs.
Today, the Institute continues to pave the way for innovative spin-offs of this technology. But first, you might be wondering, what exactly is a liquid crystal?
The term liquid crystal actually sounds a little bit like an oxymoron. I mean, liquid and crystal, the two are kind of opposed to one another. Usually when you think of something being crystalline, you think of it as being a rigid solid.
So Dr. West says he tries to explain it in everyday terms.
The image I use for people to understand the liquid crystalline phase is if you were taking logs and put them in a river, and you're going to float them down to the sawmill. Naturally, when you put those logs in the river, they all, because of the way they want to pack, they all point in the same direction. But they'll flow with the water and move and point in different directions. And actually, the properties of those logs, whether they're viewed as cylinders or long, rigid rods, depends on what direction you look at them from. That's the liquid crystal phase.
He says everything in the liquid crystal phase depends on controlling what direction those molecules go.
In fact, the displays, your flat panel TV, all you're doing is taking the liquid crystal molecule, putting an electric field on it, and it stands up. Turn it off, it lays down. And the appearance changes. and I make all the images in a liquid crystal display. My digital wristwatch, my laptop computer is all based on that phenomenon.
It's now a $150 billion a year industry, used in many different applications. But what a lot of the general public may not realize is that it has taken decades of work to develop the properties of materials for these applications.
So it really has changed how we engage with one another. The whole ability to text is, you're texting on a liquid crystal display.
Right now, most liquid crystal displays are made with glass. But Dr. John West says they are working on the next generation, made with plastic.
The key issue with glass is you've got to make one at a time, as opposed to a roll of plastic that you just print displays on and cut them out at the end.
Some local companies are already doing the first manufacturing of a liquid crystal device on plastic substrate.
We're certain that the flexible is going to come, that the manufacturing will come and it'll be a major industry. We're trying to make it happen here and stay here. It's already happening here. We're taking a lead here. Building a consortium, working with the state, working with local development agencies, working with companies that all have the same goal in mind, to get them together and take an early lead, which we are doing.
Dr. West says the possibilities of this new liquid crystal display is really only limited by our imaginations.
One of the ones they're looking at is so this is my iPhone with a neat red case around it. It's to adapt this technology, so I press a button and the case changes color. This boogie board was a little writing tablet we can write an image on. It does real well, and then you press a button and the image erases. That's being made in a roll-to-roll process right now. There's no other way to do it. It's a neat, captive little market, but we're getting the manufacturing process done.
The boogie board is being manufactured by Liquid Crystal Institute spinoff Kent Displays. Although their glass displays have been outsourced overseas, the rolls of plastic are being made right here, and the goal is to keep manufacturing it in Northeast Ohio. The product itself is being sold globally, and you may have seen one recently at a Brookstone store at an airport.
Walk into Brookstone and see a product that was developed at this institute, spin-off company making it and now being sold, and kind of a lead product in the world as far as the manufacturing. It's just massively cool.
The technology is also being used in window treatments like this, quickly going from clear to opaque.
It's switching between the on and the off state. And the ability to make a liquid crystal switchable window over this large of a size, that's that roll-to-roll plastic. That's that plastic film that I was pulling out. This is a single pixel. We only have one element, but we can start making images in this, do very high resolution.
Professor Phil Boss shows us a completely different application of liquid crystals that the Institute is working on.
You know, if you have reading glasses and you have to, where you have to, take them off or on or get the spot right, you think, wouldn't it be nice if that could be done electronically? So they would automatically focus for you. Well, there's a company in Roanoke, Virginia, called Pixel Optics, which is interested in this market.
The company approached Kent State asking them to develop a liquid crystal-based lens.
So by applying a voltage on a wire, you can change the focus of this thing.
And once I power off, it's focused back to that box.
Gregory Wilson promotes inventions at Kent State throughout the university system, but he says most of the activity is from inventions like these from the Liquid Crystal Institute.
And the role of our office is to patent and license those technologies to either existing companies or to help start new companies. And we've had about 17 of those in the 15 years I've been here.
6 former Kent State University students and several from Case Western Reserve University are at Apple right now working on this new display, proving that the past and future of liquid crystal technology is based right here in our region. At Kent State University, I'm Jennifer Boris for Western Reserve PBS.
Are you not doing business as usual? Then email us at neotropolis.org and tell us how you're changing your business, organization, or government agency to compete in the new economy. And who knows, you could be starring on NEOtropolis, not business as usual. So we took a look at technology research from a microeconomic point of view. Now we talk with experts in the field for a macroeconomic perspective, or what we like to call fly-eye economics.
With over 4,000 lenses, the eyes of a common housefly are among the most complex in the insect world.
With us tonight are panelists Dr. Byron Clayton, Vice President of NorTech, Dr. Erica Montbach, Manager of Technology Development at Kent Displays, and Tim Moreland, Dean of Arts and Sciences at Kent State University. Folks, thanks so much for being with us this evening. You know, it's been said that the Liquid Crystals Institute at Kent is the largest single technology center for this type of study. Why is that? Why Northeast Ohio?
Well, Northeast Ohio, it's kind of interesting. I was just in Taiwan, and it was funny, but in my 13 meetings that I had there, I'd say roughly 5 of them, they mentioned Kent State University and the Liquid Crystal Institute. The history of the development of the liquid crystal and displays came from Kent State University and the LCI.
Anybody else like to comment?
The why is an interesting question. I don't think there's a simple answer to it, but the factors are good universities, good people, and Northeast Ohio, of course, has a culture, a heritage of innovation, development, and getting it done. So it's a great place to incubate that type of activity.
Absolutely. What synergies, perhaps, do we have working for us in this region that might help support this center?
We have quite a few synergies. There is NorTech, which is a fabulous group that helps to enable lots of interaction between different companies and universities. There's also the different universities in the area. We also have some different cluster building grants that have been going on. We've been sort of grouping together in universities and companies trying to come up with ways where we can identify where our products, ideas, research might group together to create something even more exciting and applying to grants with that.
And there are, as Erica mentioned, in addition with universities and small businesses, we also have larger businesses which are taking an interest as well. And so when you look at the collaboration between all those groups, economic development, government, small business, universities, we are becoming a formidable force in that industry.
Funding, of course, key, obviously. What might be some of the other challenges, if any, for a center like this?
Well, it's all driven by basic research at some level or another, so that's a key component. That is the engine of innovation, and from that, products are developed and head into the pipeline. Organizations like NorTech are critically important. Partnerships that bring capital, bring organizational expertise, business expertise are all incredibly important and very valuable to the success that the area has had.
Why has NorTech chosen to focus on this type of technology?
We started focusing some years back on cluster growth. So industries that show promise in the region for future prosperity for the region, we've chosen to help those industries accelerate their growth. And the industries that we picked, the flexible electronics is one. The Liquid Crystal Institute is right at the core of that and has a history of developing products for that industry.
How will work done in this center perhaps translate to new companies created, ultimately, job growth in the region, which we're all about here?
Sure. I can comment a little. Sure. I'm at Kent Displays, which is a company in the Kent area. And the interesting thing about my company is that they were an offshoot of Kent State University, the Liquid Crystal Institute. One of the co-founders was a professor there. And so what we've actually seen happen over the last several years is several different professors have had companies like this who have started out with an idea at Kent State University doing research at the Liquid Crystal Institute, found that research might apply to a particular application or product, and then they've said, well, hey, maybe I can take this out in the market and make some money with it in a separate company. And so they've started companies in the surrounding area around those ideas. And that's really been a huge success, I think, for a lot of different people, and has allowed some really interesting technologies to get into the market that probably wouldn't have gotten there because it's sort of a small niche area.
Sure.
What's been interesting about this area is that it's grown on its own. So it started with university research. There were some companies spun out of that university research that used it, and it's been growing on its own. There was a study done by SRI International, one of the leading research institutions in the world, to really look at Ohio Third Frontier funding and its effectiveness. And what they noticed was that there is this small growing industry cluster called flexible electronics. And at the core of that was Kent Displays, Liquid Crystal Institute, Kent State University. And what's interesting about that is that it wasn't a focus area of the third frontier funding. Okay. It grew on its own, which was very interesting, which smacks of Silicon Valley and how it grew on its own.
What a shining star for Kent State.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's wonderful to see, and it's exciting to be a part of, to watch these people work, to bring the ideas, to spin up and start up companies. One thing that's not often appreciated is that there are several rather delicate phases in bringing basic research to the marketplace. Organizations like NorTech and the pathway to get to organizations, businesses like Kent Displays. There are many, many ways for it to go wrong. And one of the things that really helps Northeast Ohio is the assembly of people who have a common goal to help bring products like come out of the Liquid Crystal Institute to the marketplace. It's a wonderful success story. Ohio's third frontier funding mechanism was critically important to this. It takes good people all the way through the chain.
We kind of touched on what I was going to ask next. I don't know, maybe you can elaborate further. But Northeast Ohio, of course, known more for manufacturing, but is and or can become more involved in technology research and development more than it is already.
Absolutely. There's no limit. Good ideas are coming out all the time, and I think the pathways are well worked out. Organizations like NorTech are critically important to it.
What's interesting about that is, and you talked about research and development, but how it turns into manufacturing.
Yeah.
We are, and Kent Displays is a wonderful example of that, how they brought research and technology out, developed it, came up with a product, commercialized it, and now they are a 3-shift manufacturing operation with very high-tech tools and abilities that they are the first in the world to come up with some of the things that they're doing right now.
We only have a moment left, but does work being done in this center perhaps assist other technologies? I'm sure it does.
Very much so. When you look at the products that Kent Displays has, there are a number of specialized and refined manufacturing techniques that are important and transcend themselves very well to other high-tech industries.
Well, folks, we unfortunately are out of time. We could go on here for several more moments, but we sure appreciate your time this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Again, our future is for the better from the work at the Liquid Crystal Institute. And with that, it's time now for Into the Future.
Into the future. My name is Rick Kesey from Beverage Machine and Fabricators, one of Cleveland and Northeastern Ohio's oldest family-owned and family-operated job shops. We are a heavy industrial machining job shop with vertical turning capacities up to 126-inch diameters, as well as horizontal milling capacities and capabilities from 120 inches by 168 and everything in between. Also, we have the capability of doing water jet work with a 55 by 100-inch table to hold tolerances within 300 thousandths for all of your flat plate cut work. We would like to invite you to go to our website, bevmachine.com. That's www.bevmachine.com to further find out about our capabilities. Light fabrication and welding we also do, and we want to encourage each one of you, being as we have experience with nuclear, we have experience with aerospace, experience with defense work, as well as pressurized vessels. And if whatever it be a long run, a big production type job, or a short run, even prototype work, we are specialists, especially in difficult to machine items and materials from all of your super alloys right on down to aluminums and your standard A36 steel. So please go to Bev Machine, www.bevmachine.com, and check us out there online and give us a call if we could be of service to you.
You know, we also like to take a close look at the screen on the financial field, and the experts at NCA Financial Planners are here to help us do that now with a stock wrap.
This week's local company is NACO Industries, headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. NACO Industries is an operating holding company with subsidiaries in the following principal industries: lift trucks, small appliances, specialty retail, and mining. NACO dates back to 1913 with the incorporation of the Cleveland and Western Coal Company. In 1925, it changed its name to the North American Coal Corporation and operated exclusively in the coal industry for the next 60 years. Its name's changed to NACO Industries in 1986 with the creation of a new holding company, eventually entering the lift truck industry and finally the housewares industry. Today, NACO operates under four main subsidiary companies: NACO Materials Handling Group, Hamilton Beach Brands, the Kitchen Collection, and the North American Coal Corporation. NACO's overall strategy is to increase shareholder value through previously implemented and ongoing initiatives designed to achieve long-term profit growth. These initiatives are expected to drive each subsidiary's company to achieve or maintain its financial goals. In 2010, total revenues were $2.7 billion with net income of $79.5 million. NACO Industries is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol NC. Over the last year, the stock prices ranged from a low of $68 to a high of $132.69. This week, its midweek close was $106.26. Year-to-date, the stock is down 1.95%, and over the last 5 years, the stock is down 34%. Back to you, Jim.
The situation is always fluid when it comes to culture and entertainment in Northeast Ohio. We have the guy who has it down to a science. That, of course, is Cool Cleveland's Thomas Mulready. He joins us now to tell you about some other events that are going on in NEOtropolis this weekend. What we're talking about is the business of fun.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and this week we want to talk about where you can get vinyl records and LPs throughout Northeast Ohio. Of course, there's been a real resurgence in vinyl. A lot of people claim that the sound quality is much better, and a lot of even our local bands are releasing their songs only on vinyl or in addition or in special packs. So if you get a chance to check out vinyl and you're looking throughout Northeast Ohio, there are a few specialty shops that carry vinyl. In fact, more and more all the time. We're here at Bent Crayon Records in Cleveland, right near West 117th Street. They specialize in indie music, also Music Saves over by the Beachland Ballroom in Collinwood. They've got a lot of vintage clothing and other stuff as well. In Akron, you'll want to check out Square Records on Market Street. They also have art, sort of a gallery-like setting inside. They've got live bands there as well. You might want to check out Time Traveler for vinyl in Cuyahoga Falls. Over in Kent, Spin More Records is the place for vinyl, and the Vinyl Underground. Rock, jazz, soul, and hip-hop are their specialties. In Youngstown, Indie Wax Records is probably the place to go because we love their slogan, keeping it underground. A lot of these places also will sell turntables. They'll sell cartridges to get your turntable up and running. Some of them even sell cassettes. A lot of them sell used vinyl. So check out vinyl records and LPs throughout Northeast Ohio. This is Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in NEOtropolis.
As we leave you, keep in mind there are things that you can do to help the Northeast Ohio economy. One way is to get out to any of the events Thomas told us about and make your investment in fun. You can also position yourself out there and make your brilliant comments about the Northeast Ohio economy to any of the people in the laboratory and tell them to spread the word. In the meantime, log on to our website, neotropolis.org, and tell us what you think. I'm Jim Evans, and we'll see you next week on NEOtropolis, not business as usual.
Funding for NEOtropolis has been provided by the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, committed to the free enterprise system.
First Place Bank is proud to sponsor NEOtropolis. As a community bank, First Place Bank believes we are only as strong as the communities we serve. Locally owned businesses are the cornerstone of our communities. We concentrate on helping local businesses make the most of their resources through a variety of services delivered with a community banking touch.
The Dominion Foundation. JumpStart, working with entrepreneurs to accelerate the growth of their high-potential businesses. to create a more prosperous economic future for Northeast Ohio. Youngstown Business Incubator and NorTech.
Next week on NEOtropolis, more buzz, stock wrap, and into the future. Find out who is not doing business as usual. Now stay tuned for News Night.